For the purposes of this tutorial, we will create a very simple EID in Visio with two entities, namely student and course, and one relationship, namely registers. We'll associate the following three attributes per student: student ID, which we will use as primary key, student LName for last name, student first name, and we'll associate two attributes with course, namely CRN, which we'll use as primary key, and course code. Finally, the registers relationship will have the attribute registration date. We will also assume that the student may register for many courses, but does not have to register for any course. For example, a student may decide not to register for any courses over the summer semester. And we'll also assume that the course must have at least one student registered for it. So, to use Visio, log into the VM, the IT and Research VM, as I've done here. And obviously I made sure that I was connected to the VPN before I did so. And the first step is to download the stencil that we will use for this course. If you go to the relevant Canvas page, you see that you can download it from that page. So we'll do that now. All right. You will get a message saying that this type of file may harm your computer. We'll keep it anyway, so we'll just ignore this. We then start Visio by clicking the window icon on the left-hand bottom corner and going to navigating to Visio. So this will start up Visio. All right, so we have Visio now. Click on File and then click on Blank Drawing. And then click Create. Now we can use either metric units or US units, it doesn't really matter. So we just create. This brings up a new blank window. And what we're now going to do is to load the stencil. So we go to More Shapes, then Open Stencil, then select the crow's foot. You see I've downloaded it twice, so do crow's foot, open it, and you will see we now have a bunch of shapes come up on the left-hand side. As we get further into the course, we will discuss the purpose of each shape. Recall that we're going to create a very simple EID consisting of two entities and one relationship. And we'll first create a student entity. To do so, I drag the table shape into the canvas, and you get a message at the top saying that the database model diagram was created with a feature that's not supported in this version of Visio. That's not true, so we just X out of that. Okay. Now we highlight the top part of this entity we just added, and we type student in it, because this is going to be the student entity. All right, we can click outside it. Then we highlight the bottom part of the shape, and we're going to now add student ID with an asterisk in front of it to indicate that it is the primary key. Then student last name and student first name. All right, so now we've created the student entity. The next step is to create the course entity with as primary key CRN and attribute course code. So again, I drag this the table shape into the canvas. I highlight the top part and click course. Then I highlight the bottom part and type asterisk CRN followed by course code. The next step is to create the relationship between these two entities. So I drag the diamond shape into the canvas, then click on it and type registers or register. It doesn't really matter. Okay, so now we have the entity relationship and another entity, but obviously we now need to get the cardinality and modality information in there. And since a student may register for any number of courses, including 0, I'm going to drag the M0 connector in here, connect this part to the registers object. You see that it changes to green. That means that it's glued to the connection point. And then I take the other side and click that here. Need to mess around a little bit. So the reason for gluing is that if I now start moving this around, the connector will follow the entity. So that's kind of nice. The next step is to do add the connector between registers and student. But since a course must have at least one student enrolled in it, sorry about that, I need to use the M1 connector. So again, I'm going to connect that to registers and then connect this one to the student. Right? And now I can move registers down a little bit to make it look a little better and so on. So that's fine. So now we have the cardinality and modality information on the registers relationship. We now still need to add the intersection data for registered. So I'm going to take that shape, the intersection data shape, add it to the canvas, and then change this one to registration date. Okay, and then the last thing is add this connector. So I can do this better than that. So sometimes you have to mess around a little bit to make it look good. And this now completes the exercise.